My 4-year-old daughter, she accidentally killed herself by accident.
Oh, man.
She on a treadmill. She didn't know how to work it, and she got hurt.
Wow.
Doing his job, he putting on his shine. This is act.
He's trolling people. His job is to piss people off, right? I mean,
you would
it'd
knock
be big.
Jake Paul the fuck out.
Listen, they're not real fighters. They're exciting fighters.
Tyson finally spoke up on the extreme comment made by Jake Paul on a live session that has been making rounds on social media, cladded with different opinions. Beyond sending words to Jake Paul, the baddest man on the planet has come on a live session to reveal some underlying truths about Jake Paul's comment and share his honest opinions as well. These deep words from Tyson should undoubtedly teach Jake Paul some very crucial lessons. Let's get right in. It's no news that the match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, scheduled to hold on July 20th, has aroused a lot of controversies, actions, and debates from both parties. From sending intentional cryptic comments on the media, uploading different intense sparring sessions targeted at the other party, to even calling each other out on live, the boxing world has even made peace with the fact that the banters are sure to continue until a winner is announced. That was until a comment made by one of the combatants, Jake Paul, was heard on his Instagram live session. Jake spoke about his high anticipation of the match and bragged about his newly refined techniques and skills, sure to upscore that of Tyson's. And amidst his self-applaud, Jake made a very sensitive comment. Tyson said, "It's gonna be my funeral, but we all know whose funeral it's gonna be. I will bury Tyson close to his daughter's grave." This was met with a horde of enraged fans, coming after the problem child for causing yet another problem and going too far to the point of opening up old wounds. Also, numerous fans have even called out Jake, soliciting for a cancellation, while others claimed it was a harmless statement and shouldn't be taken too seriously. It was a scene of intense chaos and disarray. But even in the midst of the banter, fans who hoped the former world boxing champion would immediately charge so much at Jake for mentioning such a sensitive statement were dazed. So little was coming from the one and only Iron Mike, who claimed to prefer doing his talking in the boxing ring. But it was only a matter of time, as Mike Tyson has addressed the issue and controversial statement from his upcoming opponent on Instagram Live. This came after he had hurled a few words back at Jake. However, more was expected from Tyson. In his session, he expressed his hurt and pain as regards the statement and how clueless he first felt on the manner and way to react.
Who's there to check that?
Excuse me?
Who's there to...
Nobody better say nothing about you. Better turn your fucking head.
That's break. Use the bathroom.
At first I was like, he didn't just say that, then I realized he just did. And I didn't know if I should show up to him and face it out right away, or I needed to just think it through. Tyson's daughter Exodus, aged 4, died after accidentally strangling on a treadmill cord. On May 26, 2009, the 4-year-old daughter of former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson died at a Phoenix hospital Monday after what police called a tragic accident on a home treadmill. The devastated Mike Tyson described how his best thinking at the time was to get his gun and just go crazy. My best thinking at the time was to get my gun, automatic just like it, and just go crazy. Losing a loved one surely comes with many weights, leaving scars as it ages. These scars are like indelible marks that remind a person of the pain and sadness felt when they were gone. They're not wounds noticeable, but they're there. A part of us humans, a reminder of the love we shared and the emptiness we feel without them. Tyson may have acted all firm and toughed up, but even the metal in Iron Mike seemed to rust so hastily as he broke down when he spoke about it during one of his live interviews. The pain, hurt, anger, and despair could be noticed even by a glimpse in his eyes.
I had to get high. I had to back then. I had to get high. I couldn't handle it at all. You have to go. Now, you understand, right?
In Tyson's live session, he went further to say, "Bringing up the death of someone I loved is like digging up a grave and asking me to dance on it. It's not just a memory, it's a scar that never fully heals." The boxing world could agree that Jake Paul went too low making such an ignorant comment, not respecting the legendary status, the age difference, experience, and even the personal life of his combatant Iron Mike Tyson. If Iron Mike Tyson decides to take it the legal way, Paul could be sued for invasion of privacy and could be fined up to $3,000 and even imprisoned in the county jail for up to a year. The undefeated world weight champion continued in his speech on live to talk about how affected he was during the time of his daughter's death, to doing drugs and having mental breakdowns. I did cocaine for a whole week, man. It was getting too mentally draining. I needed to clear my space. He even stated that occurrence was the triggering basis for his later controversial substance abuse. I was a cokehead, going at it all day and all night, didn't give a damn to nobody, I just wanted to heal. Tyson stated that his excessive drug usage led to all other controversies that surrounded him in his prime years. As Tyson had been accused of being violent towards his former wife, Robin Givens, a self-confessed addiction to cocaine, and a rape conviction that led to time behind bars, add to his mystique outside the ring. So getting to finally overcome all of that and having Exodus die was devastating. I had to go back to what clears me up the most, cocaine, which shortly I came out of afterwards. Tyson said his body transformation was incredible ahead of the exhibition bout after he went on a strict diet and training regime. But it was his ability to walk away from cocaine and alcohol consumption that enabled the 54-year-old to be in the remarkable shape he was in. Still on the live session, Mike stated he finally felt his pain relatable after the family and friends of Patrick Day expressed their grievances on the death of the 27-year-old boxer. I just could relate to them. Knowing the circumstances surrounding how I had lost Exodus in the past, I could understand the perspective their pain was coming from. Patrick Day was a 27-year-old professional boxer who showed promising features. In the ring with a total of 22 matches and a commendable spreadsheet of April 1st, 17, which 6 of these wins were won by knockouts. Day started boxing in 2006 under the guidance of former firefighter and boxing trainer Joe Higgins. In 2012, he won the New York Golden Gloves tournament. His amateur record was 75-5, including 2 national amateur championships. He was recognized as the #1 ranked amateur boxer in the United States in the 152-pound division and served as a 2012 United States Olympic team alternate. Day rose to be a top 10 ranked light middleweight for the WBC and IBF. He also captured the regional WBC Continental America's light middleweight title. He was on the success trail of becoming the next Joe Louis. But his dreams, career, and expectations were cut short with his last match dueling Charles Conwell, a fast-rising professional who, just like Floyd Mayweather, has been able to keep an undefeated clean sheet of 18-0, with 13 of those wins won by knockout. On October 12, 2019, Conwell fought Patrick Day in what was supposed to be a competitive fight. Conwell managed to get the better of Day, dropping him 3 times in rounds 4, 8, and 10. The third knockdown was the most devastating out of all, with Conwell catching his opponent with a big right hand behind the ear, followed by a sweeping left hook that immediately sent Day to the canvas in brutal fashion. Day was reported to be unconscious and suffered a seizure on the way to the hospital. A few days after, it was announced that Patrick Day had succumbed to his injuries and died. Boxing announcer Michael Buffer described Day as a wonderful young man and that everyone in the boxing community is crushed, while WBC President Mauricio Suleiman said boxing had lost a brave, kind, and wonderful friend. Conwell posted an open letter online that expressed his sorrow and regret. Undoubtedly, a loss of that magnitude in the boxing world was bound to stir up shockwaves, with family and friends of the now-deceased boxer coming onto the media to share their grievances and shock after hearing the news. When the time came to say goodbye, I told Pat I loved him and I appreciated him, Patrick Aristide said, as he remembered the moment before the machines were switched off and his best friend, the boxer Patrick Day, slipped away into death. He fell into a coma and the doctors soon knew they could not save him. Tyson, talking about the relatability of that incident, definitely opened up old memories of fans in the boxing oasis as the hashtag of Patrick Day started trending all over the media. But that wasn't the only hashtag trending, as Jake Paul was faced with heavy criticism and backlash concerning bringing up the dead in the first place. Tyson talked about Paul trying to get him off his feet in preparations for the upcoming duel. He's trying to rile me up and get me destabilized before the match, and I ain't gonna fall for that. It's part of the game, and Tyson right here is the game planner. He also referenced the encounter Paul had with one of the famous boxers from the Fury family, Tommy Fury, calling him embarrassing and an amateur before their duel on the 26th of February 2023. Yeah, he's like that. He goes about trolling people. The moment he knows he's got chances of gaining on you is slim, he starts to piss you off. Look what he did with Tom Fury. Late on Sunday night, Tommy Fury and Jake Paul went in search of the truth in the boxing ring to finish a wild week in Saudi Arabia. In the end, Fury won a split decision after 8 scrappy and honest rounds of fighting. They definitely did find the truth in the fight. Paul's amateur skills were his downfall. There was a lot more to the fight than one man swinging and the other on defense with a few jabs in each round. About 20 seconds into the match, it was clear that all the bold talk, the demeaning and the empty threats from each boxer, especially Jake Paul about delivering devastating knockouts, were never going to happen. It was all smoke without fire. It was never going to be a sensation of skills and technique, but it was always going to be messy and fun. The pair hit each other on the break, held each other down, joined heads, and attacked each other in most rounds. It was wearying, but always intriguing. Fury won for the 9th time in his short career, and Paul lost for the first time in 7 fights. It was too easy all week to forget they are absolute and total newbies. Paul and Fury helped promote this fight like the fight of the century. Fury was only 23, a new father, and also part of the Fury fighting clan. That was a lot of pressure on the young lad, and that was why he finished biting his lips. They each had to leave their boxing safety zones, and at times they had moments where they looked uncomfortable. Paul simply had no idea how to get close and tackle, and Fury, using nothing more than a simple sway to one side, was able to make Paul miss almost easily. Few minutes into round 5, Paul was deducted a point for hitting Fury at the back of his head. From view, it could be seen as it was a shot shaped from frustration and not malicious intent. In round 6, Fury was deducted a point for holding down Paul during the many tackles. The inference interrupted and reduced the flow of the fight and were deemed unnecessary. In round 8, Fury dropped down when Paul stepped forward and connected with a jab. Fury didn't appear hurt but enraged for a comeback as he regained his feet. It was a legitimate knockdown and an extra point to Paul, but at that point the fight no longer favored Paul. They were both very exhausted and out of breath in the last round, and that was to be expected. They fought quite bravely, but the novice in both fighters couldn't be completely hidden, with slip-ups from both parties noticed in the ring. Obviously, they still had a lot of training to do. A rematch was mentioned and would make it more epic than the first bout had been. There was a lot of hype, a lot of expectations, and the critics dived deep into the match, mocking and expressing their disappointment in the duel, and particularly at the loss of Paul. Tyson also talked about getting to the point of overlooking and not allowing his anger get the best of him. I just want to get to a point where talks like that don't move me anymore. I'm healing, I'm learning, I'm growing. The legendary world weight champion has had a streak of anger outbursts in the past, which nearly cost him his career, with the one incident in the mouth of many being his duel with his then rival, but now friend. Evander Holyfield, the American former professional boxer who competed between 1984 and 2011. He reigned as the undisputed champion at cruiserweight in the late 1980s and at heavyweight in the early 1990s, and is the only boxer in history to win the undisputed championship in 2 weight classes in the 3-belt era. The Real Deal possessed the dream score sheet of every talented up-and-coming boxer, 57, 44, 10, and 29 of those wins were won by knockout with 2 draws and 1 no contest. The match began with Holyfield dominating Tyson. Holyfield emerged victorious in the first 3 rounds. At 2:19 of the first round, an overhand right punch from Holyfield knocked Tyson off his feet, but Tyson fought back, immediately pushing Holyfield backwards. At 32 seconds into the second round, Holyfield ducked under a right punch from Tyson. In doing so, he headbutted Tyson, producing a large cut over the latter's right eye. Tyson had repeatedly complained about headbutting in the first bout from Holyfield. Upon reviewing replays, referee Mills Lane stated that the headbutts were unintentional and therefore non-punishable. As the third round was about to begin, Tyson began the third round with a furious attack. With 40 seconds left to declare the round over, Holyfield got Tyson in a clinch, and Tyson raised his head above Holyfield's shoulder and bit Holyfield on his right ear. A 1-inch piece of cartilage was torn from the top of Holyfield's ear, which Tyson spat out onto the ring apron.
Good in the first fight. What happened here? He got bit, I think.
Holyfield jumped into the air in pain and spun in a circle, bleeding profusely from the bite wound. The referee, Lane, stopped the action, but almost immediately, Tyson managed to rush the already destabilized Holyfield from behind and shove him into his corner. Lane separated the men, moved Tyson to a neutral corner, and went back to check on an enraged Holyfield. The fight would be delayed for the next few minutes as Lane decided on the next action to take. Lane called Mark Ratner up to the ring and informed him that because Tyson had bitten Holyfield's ear, he was going to get disqualified and the fight would be ended.
Holyfield, look out, he's pushed right here.
Well, he bit his ear. I can see the bite mark.
He bit his ear, he's out.
Telling Mark Ratner.
2-point deduction. The fight will go on. 2-point.
Meanwhile, at the ringside, Holyfield physician Flip Homansky was performing his own health and stability check on the champion. Once Homansky cleared Holyfield to continue the fight, Lane decided to allow the bout to continue, after penalizing Tyson with a 2-point deduction for the bite, as per rules regarding any intentional foul inflicting hurt on the other. During another tackle, Tyson once again bit Holyfield's left ear. Holyfield threw his hands around to escape the clinch and jumped back. Not long after the incident, the fight was ruled as a disqualification, and victory was in favor of Holyfield, while Tyson received a major setback both in his boxing career and his net worth as well, as his wrestling license was seized by the Nevada State Athlete Commission, and he had to pay $3 million fine. However, his license was later reinstated barely a year later. When asked about the incident in an interview, Tyson revealed that he bit Holyfield's ear because he was so pissed he acted out of impulse in the heat of the moment.
At that bite. Now here's the bite. Keep your eye on Mike. See, Mike has just see it. Look at him. You can see it. You can see it. There it is.
They're going in real slow motion.
I bit him because I acted out of impulse. I was really mad about my head being bumped and everything, Tyson said. I really lost consciousness during the whole fight. It took me out of my fight plan and everything. Tyson's frustration stemmed from the fact that Holyfield dominated the opening rounds of the fight and may have come out on top had the fight went the distance out of Tyson's grasp. He also stated that Holyfield's previous win was embarrassing on his part, so he did a lot of training to come back better on the second round, only for it to go to naught. Tyson has since grown considerably with his anger management, putting in a lot of discipline and trying his best not to make it interfere with his esteemed professional career. In his live, he went on to talk about Paul just being a kid and not knowing a lot about real pain and scars, hoping he learns more as he evolves in his career. I mean, he's just a kid who started boxing recently. He knows nothing about real pain. He thinks the punches thrown at him in the ring mean pain. No, it doesn't. Pain is that feeling that comes from your heart right here. You want to make it stop, but you just can't. Every beat reminding of that stuff you wish to forget the most, that's pain. It definitely broke the hearts of fans in the boxing world, seeing the legend in the boxing world voice out his broken-hearted and passionate speech. And I wouldn't let all that weigh me down before the match. We have a fight to win and a record to keep. And his way of approaching the whole scenario garnered commendations from fans and viewers from all over the world. A fan wrote, "This was the most shocking and best reply I've ever seen, especially coming from Tyson, who's known to be a hothead. The degree of discipline is astonishing. Fighting for you, Iron Mike. Keep it up." Some commended his approach as mature and sensible, while others still thought he should have addressed the pressing issue with his fist rather than words. Another fan commented, "Tyson was way too calm for that kid. A meeting should have been made and face it out like men." Tyson's approach to the whole situation has by far been the best comeback yet, as even Paul would be feeling sorry for being so insensitive and ignorant with Tyson's approach on the matter. The undefeated boxer made it clear he wasn't moved by Paul's comment and instead expressed it in a state of hurt rather than anger. And with the backlash and call out from fans, it wouldn't take too long for the 26-year-old boxer to admit his unruly behavior and give a proper apology. Well folks, this is what the world of boxing has to offer us today. If you enjoyed watching this video, kindly react by clicking the like button below. For more interesting updates and news, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to turn on your notification button and leave a comment.